Long before the quake, we want you to meet another. His name is Jean-Robert Cadet. He's one of the founders of the Restavek Foundation. Restaveks are child slaves, and there are hundreds of thousands of them in this country. Boys and girls used as domestic servants, given by their poor families to other families. They really have no rights and are at the mercy of the family that they're given to. Cadet runs a foundation with the mission of giving these kids their freedom. Gary Tuckman has his story.
Jean-Robert Cadet grew up in Haiti, and as a child was a modern-day slave, serving a family that literally bought him. The same situation these three girls had with people who bought them. Jean-Robert helps protect children like these as the head of an organization called the Restavek Foundation.
A Restavek is a child in domestic servitude.
This past summer, CNN's Dr. Sanjay Gupta introduced us to Jean-Robert and his work, and showed us how he's rescued Restaveks from that life.
I want all children to have the same right.
But the earthquake is making things worse for Jean-Robert and the children he protects.
A lot of children who are not a Restavek will become Restavek because they lost their parents, they lost their mothers, they lost their fathers, they have no one to turn to. So these children will become Restavek. So what's going to happen is the population, the Restavek population, will increase.
Jean-Robert's foundation is now providing food for orphan children, renting houses for children who have nowhere to go, and hiring new staff to care for them.
And this thing called the Restavek servitude, slavery, should not be happening. And I'm hoping after the dust settled, we will rebuild Haiti, a new Haiti, where all children can go to school.
Jean-Robert was abused and exploited as a child. He's repulsed that it still happens all these years later. But he's inspired when he and his foundation save a child from slavery.
We cannot rebuild this nation. This nation cannot be a nation without its children. This is their hope.
It's got to make Jean-Robert feel great to have one of his kids placed with a family.
Whenever that happens, it's one of the highlights of his life. He told me the story about one particular girl, a 15-year-old girl, who in the midst of getting brutalized and abused, said to him when he met her, "Please, don't ever forget me." And he said, "I promise I won't forget you." And now that particular 15-year-old is about to be adopted by a loving family in the United States.
I think a lot of people don't understand this system, this Restavek system here. This is essentially poor families who give up their child or sell their child to another family, and maybe that family is richer, maybe that family is not that much richer at all, but they live in the city, and they can do whatever they want with that child.
Well, ostensibly, the poor families believe these children will get schooling and get a better life. That's not usually what happens. They sell the child to a wealthier family, and most of the time, these children become modern-day slaves, and they get up earlier than everyone in the house, they stay up later, they don't go to school, and they often get sexually abused, they get beaten. It's terrible.
We've seen a number of them in hospitals or in makeshift camps, injured, basically been dumped by their adoptive family, the family that they've been working for, because the family doesn't want an injured child, and maybe the family doesn't even have a home anymore, so they don't want to have an extra mouth to feed. And now these kids don't have the family they were given to or sold to, and they don't even know in some cases where their original family is from.
And that's the tragedy. And because of this earthquake, we don't know what's going to happen in the weeks and months to come.
All right, Gary, appreciate the report. Thank you. Celebrating a country of heroes, the people of Haiti, their faith, and their future.